Trash to Cash podcast episode Secret Underpants Edition. It's secret time. Victoria's secret today there, Carrie.
Yeah.
How's it going? Fireside chats.
You ever
edition.
been in a Victoria's Secrets?
Dude, no, you got to put your brick wall picture behind you again, like you did in the last
sorry.
Fireside chats. Dang it, and my lights are all unfancy.
You want to just start over?
Oh, we screwed the whole thing up. Wait, let's see if I can get a cool virtual. Here we go. This is not.
There we go.
This is so much worse.
Mine's better. This is so dumb though.
This is so.
Then
you
do the one with like the piano in the background.
Is that really? That's by default. Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Just now it looks like you're.
No, let's just do the blur. I'm gonna go fancy with the blur.
I'm at a comedy club, and then occasionally like Spider-Man peeks out. Do you see that?
Carrie, what's this episode? What is this? No one's gonna watch this. This is no one's gonna see episode.
No, nobody's gonna see this episode. But in the future, if we're investing in ourselves correctly, people will just flock to this episode to see the OG podcast. This is what started it all. This is when the lake was pure. And when the river was pure.
In the lake, before the pee in the lake. Before it was contaminated. Fellow entered the boat, as it were.
Exactly. The guy who could not keep his bowels inside of him.
Well, listen, guys, this episode, me and Carrie were just sitting there like, we need to do more for our Patreons. We need to do more. We don't do enough for them.
We love them so much.
Yeah, and it's like,
and
we
money.
Just feel like, me and him are kind of lazy on the Discord, and Kevin's like always doing the dibdit, and me and Carrie,
he's so into dibdit.
What can we
it's
get
aggressive.
Back? And we're like, let's give him a little secret episode. Let's give him a little secret episode where Spider-Man's wang just keeps appearing behind Carrie's
literally
head.
His wang.
Can I tell you, Carrie? Well, anyway, so guys, if you're here, you're one of the few, the proud, the Marines.
Yes,
what pay grade should you have to have? Is it the $5 tier? Not the $3. The $3 we lose money because of fees.
$3. Yeah,
it's
got to
be
be
the $3 tier. $5 or above, maybe. Yeah, I think
$5 or above, because if this works out, man, say 200 new people join the Patreon at
just
$5 a piece.
Secret episodes.
Yeah, just to watch the secret episode, that's like $35 a month extra. We'll be.
I don't know math, but I believe it exists.
Yeah,
and so I think there's some arguments.
How do those work?
Arguments.
Anybody figure that out yet?
No, they're reverse polarity or something. So
it's all about polarities,
dude. A lot of people think you're bad at picking. I feel like I've portrayed this like I've hurt your image, and I'm sorry for that.
It's funny, my image wasn't that for so. I get such a kick out of how much control we have of our own image, because a lot of the things that people even say about you that's negative, and there's a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
A real lot.
I have actually a list that I keep,
good.
So I feel better about myself. But most of it is stuff that you volunteered, information that you shared, videos that you shared.
You know what it is like? So I feel like it's partially my fault because I always give you a hard time because you don't go picking. Like, it doesn't make you bad at picking. Like, you know what to buy. You choose to not buy it. So I don't really think you're bad at reselling or bad at picking. I think you're just kind of over it for some categories. You're over it.
You know the thing is, I've been a reseller, one of the best for a few years. I'm one of the worst now, but at some point it was probably me, Tech and Sport, and then of course Daily Refinement up here. Back when he had an eBay, allegedly.
Yeah. I just edited the footage where I met Tech and Sports, and he did not know who I was at all.
I
cut him out. No, I cut him out.
Just cut him out.
Who's this?
He's probably like somewhere in the Everglades right now, walking and making content. That's when you know you've made it. You could just go on a walk and talk and get 10,000 views. That's when you know you've made it.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no, there was a time where I was. The thing is, like, I get hyper fixated, hyper focused on one thing at a time really well. And the cards has really taken a lot of my energy, and I'm not interested in stuff I'm not interested in anymore, because I've sold the big stuff and had it sit on my shelf for 6 months and then feel terrible because I don't want to post it. I've had like issues where I've not tested things properly and they've come back. I've realized I don't like, makeup or whatever I'm selling, so I've moved on. I've done it long enough to have a kind of a personality within reselling.
I get it.
I think as you grow, you start to sell what you like. That's just inevitable.
Or less of what you like. So I'm going the other direction, Carrie.
See, what are you doing?
I've started selling less of what I like. So for these last couple of years, I've been really highly focused on like action figures, toys, and plush. And now I'm kind of pushing away from them. And I don't know if it's like just that I'm tired of them, or if so few of them hit my $15 limit. It might be that. I have this like self-imposed limit of $15 plus for eBay, and so little when it comes to action figures, so few that you find on a regular basis are worth 15 plus,
Yeah.
right? So few. And back in the day when I'd sell a 12-inch, Captain
12
America,
inch.
12-inch
12 inch.
Captain America for $6, then I'd find those all the time. You would too. Like, you still see them.
Yeah.
Those, like, basically non-articulating 12-inch
Yeah,
Marvels.
The Titan
Yeah,
Heroes,
like,
super cheap
sure,
plastic
you
ones.
sell them
Yeah.
for $6, you pay 50 cents for them. Like, it's profit, but it's
I
not
mean,
what I
you could
do
still
anymore.
buy them if you get 5 or 6 at a time and you lot
I
them.
do, but I guess my point is, like, the more I try to focus on higher dollar items, the less I even go to the toy section. But I was literally thinking that today while I was listening, and then of course I get a message from the Lord, and I pull out this stupid little Barbie thing, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be worth nothing. I look it up, thinking it's like gonna be $4, worth $100. It's Disney Attractionista doll
Yeah.
for the most of them are only worth like 10 to 15, but this one is for that defunct Splash Mountain ride that they just closed down,
Yeah.
that they're turning into
Did you see
Tiana's
the
Adventure.
animatronics of the new Tiana stuff?
No,
Like I
it's
saw that
probably
on
cool though.
Instagram today. It's pretty wild. It's kind of creepy. It's like Kevin level real. Like you still
Okay.
don't trust it. You
Yeah.
still think it's like probably controlled by the devil, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
that level.
Yeah. Well, so that's kind of what I mean. Like, so just as I'm about to say I'm done with action figures forever, I find a $100 action figure. So I'm not gonna stop it, but I am
Here's what
leaning more
happens.
into different categories now.
Here's what happens, Dave, and you've experienced this. As you grow as a reseller, all of your hot, passionate item, like hot categories that you were in for a time,
Yeah.
and you get over and you move on to something else, you never forget that information.
It's still there.
So yeah, it's
Yeah, you
still
kind
there.
of just
So
get better and better.
that's
In a
you're
sense.
building brick by
Yeah.
brick.
Yeah.
So like when like I at the DI last week, this is something I found. The electronic cart came out and there was this old school metal cassette player. Looked like a Walkman, but it was Iowa, which is a different brand.
Yeah,
And I know
AI.
from doing this for so long that the metal, the really nice 80s Walkman are money. And this iWin was no different. It doesn't even work correctly. It's as is. It powers on. It doesn't work, and it still should get me about $150.
Wow.
And it was $10. Broke.
Yeah.
So like that's stuff that I have not been hunting for. I'm not going on Facebook Marketplace like
But if you
looking for
see
that
it-
stuff.
if
But
you
if I
see it,
see
you're gonna
it,
grab
I'll
it.
get it. But the problem is like I'm so focused on what I love, probably to my own detriment at times, that like
Yeah.
and I'm willing to sell low end cards because I have my
But it's-
scanner and I can do hundreds at a time.
It's like all of us though. Like, I was editing footage. I don't know if you saw it. You were asleep.
I didn't see you editing footage.
But no,
That'd be
I
weird
sent that
because I'd have a camera in
screenshot
your
of
house.
that
then.
orange mushroom looking lamp to you and Dawn. Did you see
I
that? It was a
didn't
couple
see
days
that.
ago. Dawn said it looked awesome. Like, it was like a
I might have saw that,
MCM, and it had like the old style plug, and it literally looked like a mushroom, but it was orange. And I walk right by it at the sale, and I go buy a $2 Schmid plush. Right?
Schmid, yeah.
Fine. Yeah, $8 to $12 plush, whatever. I paid $2 for it, but I walk by a lamp that sells for $250. And that's what, like, and again, that happened. The footage is like 3 months old. And if it had happened now after Jen coming, after Dawn coming multiple times, I would not have missed it if I went to that yard sale today. But
here's-
I did miss it. But I don't know. I guess my point is we focus on what we love so much, it's to our own detriment. Like you with cards, where you walk by the $100 item, that's also maybe even easy to ship because you see that freaking crappy
But here's
card
the
pile.
thing. You've been talking about MCM stuff so much lately. I'm starting to believe you like it. That's the
kinda
thing. It's
do
not.
like
It's not
it.
like you don't like it though. You're
no, I
just
do
your
kinda like
interests
it.
are
Yeah.
evolving. You're
Yeah.
going from a caveman to a Pablo Picasso. You're now an
I'm
artist.
kind of liking it. Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
like that stuff now. It's
Yeah, I
weird.
dig it too. Like we've had a little hot streak at the DI lately. Like last week, there was a bunch of like I don't do mugs. Mugs are generally bad, but a whole bunch of
No,
like
Gary
Fire
Vee told me
King.
they're great.
No, they're great. If Gary Vee said it, they're great. But like
Yeah.
the vintage Fire King ones came out, those
Never
were
heard
kind
of
of
that.
exciting. Like it's just a certain style.
Okay.
And then today, like I got a Wedgwood cup that I found.
What's that worth?
You know,
What color was
it's like
it?
about it was like the darker blue.
Oh,
I
okay.
had an in-depth discussion with Tim like 2 years ago when I was in
Yes.
DC, all about Wedgwood, and typically you're going to see that powder blue, the white and powder blue.
I heard the black is good.
The black, the maroons,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a darker blue. So I thought, oh, this is like a variant color.
Yeah.
And it was like $20 for the size, though. That's really
Dude,
good because
I
it was
picked up
tiny.
a dark blue Wedgwood teapot that sells for about 200.
Yeah, the dark
at the
blue.
flea
It's
market. Yeah.
the stuff is kind of timeless. I mean, and I was like, this is cool. And then I found a Sons of Anarchy
Well,
in the
and you had
box
all those
figure.
wedgies too when you were in high
I
school. You
used to
got all
get
those
wedgies.
wedgies.
I wasn't so concerned about the wedgies because I couldn't breathe because I was getting a swirly at the same time.
Can you get a
Um,
wedgie and a swirly simultaneously? I guess
if
that's true.
if
They
you
pull
have
you down
yeah,
into the
if the
toilet by
bully
your underwear. That's smart.
well, there's more than one bully too
Yeah, I
because
like
they
that.
needed 7 people to take
Did
me
you
out. I was
get
like
did you
a
get bullied? Did you?
no, I
Let's talk
didn't get
about that.
bullied,
I
dude.
didn't get
I
bullied
honestly
either.
didn't. I always got
Were
along.
you a bully?
No, I
Or were you
always
like
just
Sweden? I was like Sweden. I was friends with every
I
clique.
got along with everybody. I've
Yeah.
talked to you about this before. Like my parents, my whole
Yeah.
life were always like fighting, so I was
Yeah.
all about like keeping the peace, and
Like
that's how I've
Russell
always
Crowe
been.
fighting around the world.
Yeah, so like I've always been about keeping the peace. I would be friends with everybody. I was like when in high school I was the theater nerd, but I also like got along with the basketball kids and stuff. Like I
Yeah,
got
I was
along
I
with
was
most
very
everybody.
similar. I was very similar. I'd like go like for lunch. I was a guy who jumped from table to table instead of just sitting with like the punk kids. I'd sit with the punk kids, then I'd go over to the band kids, then I'd go over to the emo kids, then I'd go over to the preppy kids, the jocks. You know, and
Yeah,
I'd
it's
literally sit
lucky,
with all of
man.
them.
It's not like
And
that for everybody, but I was lucky, and you were
what
too.
I did was I'd beg them all for money. I was like the class mooch. I'd be like, anyone got any quarters? Anyone got any quarters? I wouldn't even like. My mom would
Why?
pack so I could go get hot lunch. My mom wouldn't buy hot lunch. She was like, "No, I have food at the house, Dave. Have this squished peanut butter and jelly sandwich and this diarrhea." She actually would put diarrhea in my lunch. It was very,
That's
very
disgusting,
mean.
but also
You can tell from her in
nutritional.
my videos that she's just very mean, right?
This is something I vividly. We went to the high school. You graduated in '03. I
Yes.
graduated in '02. I vividly remember. Did you have like soda machines? Like,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I remember this was when I was in high school. You were probably in high school at the same time when they released Code Red Mountain Dew.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a
That
big
was
deal.
that changed my life. I was a Mormon kid and I was high off that Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Like every day for like a year and a half. I had
Dude,
to have
that's
like
still the
6
Baja
a day.
Blast. I literally had to have a conversation with Tina. I said, Tina, I gotta stop with the Baja Blast. Like I'm going every morning. Like
My urine is
listen,
tropical.
ever since that stupid butthole, no offense, Mr. Butthole, who
Yeah.
commented on my video and told me that fasting's gonna kill me, I have been totally off fasting. Because like he sent me some news article in my comments saying that fasting's gonna give me a heart attack. And dude, I'm definitely more likely to get a heart attack eating what I'm eating now than fasting. Like
It's
not
a
gonna
problem.
work.
You will find a study
It's like, oh, yeah, yeah.
opposite of what you're doing on everything in life.
It's like, okay, so I want someone to do the study. What's more likely to kill me, intermittent fasting or 7,000 calories a day? I don't know, but I think I'm
I
okay
love
with
that
intermittent
you totally
fasting.
skipped over just a healthy diet.
That's not
Just
an
a
option
general
for me.
all-around healthy diet. That's also an option. But like you could probably get away with a lot more calories than most people because you're constantly moving.
I've been doing this thing. Like I get up, I go to the freaking store, I get my bagel, which bagel is heaven to me. I love bagels. And I get a Code Red or a Baja Blast. And by like 9 a.m., I'm drinking a 20-ounce Baja Blast. That is not the right way to start your day.
No.
It is not.
I think the Baja Blast is like the millennial,
It's
like
so
the older
much
millennials
caffeine.
Code Red. But
Yeah.
like Code Red when we were younger was just like you drink a Code Red and then like I would go to the store. Like this is before like the prank videos were big on YouTube because YouTube didn't exist. We were just watching Jackass or whatever you can.
Yeah.
You can do. You can. I don't know if we can do any post on that and bleep that out.
We don't.
But
There's
we
only
would
12
go-
people watching.
Yeah, there's only 12 people. Who cares?
Maybe
I would-
Brian Big and Fun if we figured out his Patreon issue yet. He said he's already paid up, but it's not showing anymore.
Well, maybe he could just send us each an individual Venmo to make sure that the money goes through.
I'm gonna look
We'll
at that
just
actually
verify
while
it.
you blather on and I ignore you. What were
No,
you
but I
saying
used to
about
go. We
that?
used to
Yeah.
go to like the grocery store and just lay down in the middle of the aisle till somebody noticed us, like act like we were dead. That was a big
Yeah.
deal in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
Just like pranks, but only for me and my friends because we had nobody, like no filming back then. It was the olden
dude, you know
days.
what? You know what it was? Didn't Brian do the motivational speech a few times?
Yeah, he did.
So I'm wondering if he paid because he paid $348.18. Which thank you, Brian. Thank you. That's a lot of money. That's a PS5 that Brian paid.
Oh, that he's
to our
paid.
Patreon.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was
I
just
didn't-
for 1 year. Okay, so that's a lot of money. No doubt that's amazing.
We've
$348.
done nothing. We've done absolutely nothing to earn that.
But that's $29 a month. Okay? And a few months he upgraded himself to the higher, but no, there's a discount if you do it in bulk. This really doesn't make sense. I'm going to message Patreon. I wonder if I can. I don't even know. This is what this episode's about now. It's about getting Brian Big and Fun fixed. Like fixed like you do to your dog.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
fixed like
a little snip and a tuck, as we like to call it in the
did
business.
you see someone posted on our Trash to Cash quotes? This you know, if you put quotes, you can say whatever you want, right?
It's true.
It's not offensive as long as you put quotes. ADH Dave is a horrible reseller and a clown. I finally started watching a few of his video, and good lord, it is awful.
I got upset by that. I don't think I responded. I started responding to it, but then I didn't because I was like,
no,
why bother?
but I pulled that up because it was back to what we do. We portray ourselves in a certain way. Like, I am willing to portray myself to have people think I'm bad at flipping. I'm okay with it. I don't really care if people think I'm good or bad at flipping. It doesn't really affect my life. Like, literally, like, I'm trying to think, what do I care about anything about? So my wife is a people pleaser. You're kind of a people pleaser. Mm-hmm. Tina cares deeply what people think about her. I am the polar opposite. Like, I could care less. Now, I don't really want you to tell me you don't like me, but if you don't like me, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter. You know, as long as you're not affecting my life, it's okay. That you can hate me all you want. Like, that's fine. But for you, I know it's a little different. You're more of a people pleaser. You want people to like you.
Somewhere in between about it. Yeah. I don't even know if I care in a deep sense about what people think about me, but in the moment, I don't like upsetting people, if that makes sense. Like, that bothers me a lot. Like, I've talked to you about that. I'm like, oh man, I'm bugging you, or like I've done that with everybody in my life, and that bothers me. But actually, like, deep down, do I care? I don't think I do too much. Social media will basically get rid of a lot of that for you if you do it consistently, and if you're doing like shorts.
That is true.
It's constant negativity.
You have no choice but to just be accepting of it. Can I like just gift him a membership for the remainder? Maybe that's what I could do for Brian, because he already paid for it. I can see that he paid for it, Carrie.
Yeah, just gift it. How do you
do
that?
So if there's a way to gift Patreon memberships, gift Patreon memberships. Hey, where's Kevin? We should probably talk about that. Go ahead, Carrie. Explain where Kevin is.
This is a perfect scenario for Kevin. Kevin, one of his favorite things to do is make a little bit of extra Skrillex, a little bit of extra money without doing any work. And that's, I think, we wanted to give the people what they wanted. We've seen by the numbers that the people want the OG podcast.
Yeah. So, the numbers are clear. The
numbers
are clear
that there is a
evidence.
Strong dislike of Kevin and a really, really passionate group of people who want us.
Let's be honest. We didn't invite him.
We did.
We didn't invite him. We just said, you know what?
Invited.
Okay, this is what happened. We said we really need to provide a little more for the patrons. Like, what if we just record an episode? We could invite Kevin on a future one. We could definitely invite him. But we were just like, you know, we didn't want to burden him with this idea of ours, knowing that only like 25 people might be able to watch it or decide to watch it. So, like, you know, why even waste Kevin's time in that sense, you know?
I like the idea of this podcast being even somehow less about reselling than our actual podcast.
It's hard, like, though, because whenever Kevin's not here, we talk a lot about reselling.
It's true.
It's not,
but like, maybe we could invite like a fireman on and talk about firemen.
Do you know any firemen?
I'm just saying, like, theoretically, because somebody was sharing about that tent in our group chat today.
Yeah, that was boring.
That was super boring. All Kevin and Dawn want to talk about, and Dawn's next to me, so I can say this because I'm saying it to her face.
Yeah.
All they want to do is brag about their eBay sales.
Yeah.
They don't talk about all their eBay fails, and there's a lot of them.
And they should.
They don't talk about any of those. They should talk more about how they're not doing good on eBay as well.
Well, right, dude, speaking of
sports cards.
Sports cards,
she just said sports cards. That's fair.
Well, when I was at the P Across Florida sale with Rod and Mike, there was like this free sale. They were giving everything away for free except for this one item. They were selling this Salty Sea Captain, like a 4-foot tall Salty Sea Captain lamp. Have you seen this on my videos? I talked about it on my videos. I know you don't really watch my videos, but
the Salty Sea Captain, that sounds like something that Kevin would be involved in. That's one of his illicit clubs.
Yeah, if you go over to Urban Dictionary, Kevin wrote the definition of that bad boy.
He ruined the Salty
Mike,
sea
come
Captain.
Here, we're doing the Salty Sea Captain. Where's Heather?
We got one sleeping bag, and we're in the back of the snuggle bus.
Anyways. So Rod and Mike made fun of me for buying this thing because the lady was like $5. It's like literally A 4 foot
Yeah.
tall, well designed and crafted sea
I mean, you
captain
could say what you're saying. You were going to say
with a
you
light.
were mildly sexually attracted to this piece of wood.
Dude, this is the kind of thing you see at like a fancy store in the mall or like a Hobby Lobby for like $400, $500. Like these things are not cheap, and they're making fun of me for buying it for $5. Would you buy it for $5? You wouldn't.
Oh
Dawn
yeah, all
might.
day. I wouldn't have
You
any
would.
clue what to do. Well,
It's
we'd
as
buy
big as
that,
your
yeah.
Spider-Man. It's as big as your
Yeah.
Spider-Man, but it's a sea captain. It's like made
There
of
comes
like
a point
ceramic.
where you're like, we're either going to sell this, or
And it's a
this is going to
lamp.
be, or this is going to be part of our personality
Exactly.
for the rest
Exactly.
of our
So
lives.
that's
One of the two.
like my fox plushie that you've met
Yeah.
several times,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So I said, Tina, listen, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to ship it. I paid $5 for it. Sell it, whatever you sell it for. You keep the money. You can get a manicure, pedicure, whatever you want. Like I just don't want to deal with it. And so she put it on Facebook, and in a couple days she sells it for $100.
Wow.
$100. And the
you're
guy
like
that comes today, well, the guy that comes today, he's like, yeah, thank you. I'm a flea market seller. This is going to do great for me. And I was like, which flea market? And he's like, oh, Renninger's. So Renninger's is in Mount Dora. It's the one you haven't been to, Carrie. It's
There's
supposed
so
to be
many.
really good. It's supposed to be really good. It's like an hour and a half from me. It's supposed to be really good. I've not been to it either. We both need to go at some point. Next time you come, maybe. But apparently there's like 2 times a year where it's like an epic, like, magnum opus flea market where it's like literally Mr. Holland's opus, dude. Literally, Jocelyn comes down for this thing.
Oh wow!
Like, yeah, literally for Renninger's twice a year. I think it's November and February. She drives down. Where does she live? Like Maryland or something. She drives all the way down here just for this flea market. So, and this flea market is definitely more focused on like high end collectible type antiques. And so this salty sea captain, this guy's probably gonna sell it for $400. I'm fine with that. I paid $5.
You got so screwed.
I paid.
How bad do you feel now?
Well,
that you
Tina's
only
like,
made, what is that, 5 million % profit?
Well, Tina's like, I feel like I gave it away. Like, I think he's gonna sell it for a lot more. I'm like, so what? I paid $5. It's $95 free dollars. He's gonna sell it for $400.
Perfect transaction.
Yeah.
Everybody except the initial seller made money.
But
they enjoyed it.
She didn't care. She didn't care.
Yeah,
she's the one who we told we were resellers. She was like, oh great, you're gonna find it a great home. That was every time we said we're a reseller. She's like, you're gonna find it a great home.
People underestimate the amount of people that actually like that resellers are around buying stuff, because they're like, oh, I can get rid of this crap and it doesn't have to just sit like this Spider-Man. Every time I walk into this room, I think it's a person about to beat me up, like for a split second every time, and it's never gonna stop.
And it never does it. Well, you could sell it. Have you listed? Well, so I was kind of trying to motivate you to list it on Facebook, dude. Like, I think you can sell it.
Don doesn't want to like deal with local.
Hey, I have a question. Why don't you rent out a booth at your flea market and do a video selling there?
Oh, dude, that sounded. You said a lot of words that sounded like a lot of work. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, like,
we've done it before. I used to, man.
But bring him down there and put a friggin' $250 price tag on him.
I mean, I guess if I built some content around it, it would motivate me. But then I would just have to start doing content on my American arbitrage page again. And, well, you know.
What if you sell your cards, dude? That'd be fun. What if you took your cards and did a card booth at the flea market? That'd be kind of fun.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah.
What I found
easy to get it there too. Just bring a couple boxes.
What I found a lot with content is, and maybe if you stick with it, it could work. But a lot of times, the fancier and more creative you get, the less views you get. There was this card guy that I follow. That's kind of like a coworker. Also gets the same amount of views in his cards, his videos as I do. He decided to open up a pack, and wherever the last card in that pack was, like whatever team it was, he would fly to that city and watch a game. So,
dude, that's way more in depth than what I'm saying. What I'm saying is take your boxes of cards that you got for $1 each and put a $2 price tag on it, and be like, "Yo, here's what I sold for $2 that I paid."
I was making an excuse, and then you made it seem much easier.
It's so easy. I think it'd be a fun video. That's all I'm saying for your card channel. And you'd meet all these card bros. You could tell them you're gonna be there. Some viewers could come meet you. You could sign autographs, like Kevin signed babies' heads.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
It's annoying the amount of autographs that Kevin signs to people who don't know who he is,
dude. Or
like,
okay, so you do your card
Buc-ee's, dude.
You do your card thing, Carrie. You bring it down to sell cards, but you bring Spider-Man. He's the only non-card thing you have. You put a $500 price tag on him, and you don't expect to sell him. But maybe someone comes up and says, "Yo, that's Spider-Man, bro. I'll take that, and you sell the Spider-Man for $500.
I mean, I could if I wanted to sell. If we wanted to sell the Spider-Man, we got a couple people.
Well,
Right,
you were
I was
saying
talking
that it
to
was a part of your life and it was
Taco Wolf.
stressing you
Want some,
out.
I know.
So I'm trying to help you out here. You said it was stressing you out, and
No,
that
he's
you're
okay
scared.
now. Like he's part of me now. We're one. We're
Oh,
one person. One being.
you've cleaved together.
Yeah, we're slowly. I'm getting
I thought it looked
xenomorphed
like he had a weird
or whatever it's
hole
called.
on him. A couple little weird holes have shown
Well,
up.
you
I don't
know,
what those
whatever.
are.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, but you didn't have to say that in the podcast.
Well, anyway, so the flea market guy came to my house, and while he's at my house, he's like, "You got anything else cool for sale?"
Did he pick your?
Yeah, he wanted to. I was like, dude, not really for that flea market, because I knew exactly which flea market it was. It's the perfect one for the Salty Sea Captain. But as he's leaving, I'm like, wait, and I grab my fox and run him out and be like, you want the fox? $100. He's like, no, I can only pay $50 for that. I was like, all right, it's like a $400 fox, but he doesn't know. So and it's not really for his type of flea market, anyways. But I almost sold him the fox. It would have been cool to get that thing out of the way. I trip over it every time I walk out here, and I don't want to ship it, so I never list it. So.
That's something that you're going to own for a while, and then it's going to at some point you're going to sell it, and it's going to be owned by the next person for a while.
Yeah,
I feel like that's all we do is we're just
40?
trading stuff and
I think I paid 40.
Exchanging money for it. Feels deep.
It's almost like we're resellers.
Yeah, I hate those people, by the way.
I hate them.
You know, why can't we just go to a store and find 6 toy bags and just mix and match and then pay the one price and walk out like nothing ever happened? Why can't we do that?
That's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that question, but it's a good question. I'm a creator and I need support. I've decided to just solve this problem right now. Why not? This makes perfect sense. So what are you doing tomorrow? So I have to do some cooking videos. I do. You have no top of your head.
Oh, it's there. It's there. I assure you that I did not lose part of this. Is not like a World War II movie where I got shelled or something. Tomorrow, my plans are to just chill. Like, I don't have anything crazy. I need to really do some editing. That's what I need to do. I'm going to go to the DI. I've been going to the DI most days when there's not much else going on. Yeah. We've been finding some really good stuff at our local Deseret
But what movie are you going to see? This is the real question.
Tomorrow, we were looking today, and I don't see anything out.
Abigail, dude. That looks so cool.
Abigail's like a horror movie, right?
No, it's like these people like abduct this girl. She's like got rich parents or whatever. They get her in this house and they're gonna like ransom her or something. But then it turns out she's a vampire. Ooh. Okay, and so she starts murking them all, killing everyone and stuff like that. And the twist is that instead of them capturing her, she really captured them. That's not really a horror. That's more like slasher. That's more like a
we should
discuss.
We should do like a little AI picks podcast.
Let's invite Barrett onto the call.
Let's get Barrett on. What was the movie we see? I forget what we see.
Eraserhead?
No, not Eraserhead. That was terrible. If you guys, Chauncey, Badmon. Did we ever talk in the podcast about that movie?
About how terrible Imaginary is? I don't know.
Imaginary, not the new one that's coming out by John Krasinski with Ryan Reynolds and some other people.
That's Imaginary Friend. That's If. Yeah.
This is Imaginary, and in the middle of that movie, like I was like, this reminds me of Are You Afraid of the Dark? And it was so literally done by the people who produced that on Nickelodeon, the new version.
It was really, really terrible.
It was really, really bad, yeah. But there's no good movies coming out until a little while. I'm trying to think. The new Joker looks pretty good.
Dude, did you see the Deadpool Wolverine trailer?
Yes, it
looks so stinking.
It's so is this self-referential stuff getting old at this point though? It looked good.
No, listen, it's the only Marvel movie I've been excited about for 3 years. So let's just have it. I'm ready for it. I'm a little
disturbed at how old Wolverine's getting though.
He actually still looks pretty good.
He looks pretty good. I think
compare him to Kevin, who's
74?
like 600 years old. I think he looks pretty good.
He is.
He does. Look at this. So first of all, ABC Matt with some allegations in the last podcast. He said Kevin is more fit and better shape than you and I. But I'm pretty confident I could out bench press Kevin. I'm just saying.
Most of our weight, at least for me, revolves around the girth of something. That's where most of my weight comes from. I'm very bottom heavy.
I'm very face heavy. I was telling you that. So me and Tina,
you do look fat in the face, but like you're normal in the body.
I really am. So listen, like if you look at me,
John's like, what are you talking about?
If you look at me before you got here, Carrie, before
I thought you were so fat before I met you.
I'm telling.
I really thought you were really fat.
My face is huge, and what happened is so. I read that article about how intermittent fasting is going to kill me. It threw me completely off the rails. Then Brandon comes, and Brandon's not fasting at all. And so I'm eating with Brandon. So I have been eating ever since Brandon came, basically, and I read that article. And I put on like another 5 pounds. Put 5 pounds back on. I tell you, it's literally all freaking right here. It's insane. And I tell Tina, I said, Tina, every time I gain weight, it's directly in my head. Like, I would love to have a big old giant butt. Like, you know how much more comfortable sitting would be if all the fat went to my butt instead of my face? I wish you could select where your fat goes. Like, the face is worse. Literally changes my appearance when I gain 6 pounds.
I'd do like a hunchback. If I was putting all my fat in one spot, it'd
put
be
it
my
right
left
here?
shoulder. Yeah, just like then you get discounts at Savers and
that's a good point.
And
That's a good point. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just frustrating. So I told Tina. I said I got to get back on my fasting. I don't care if it gives me a heart attack.
Yeah, I would say the guy who's just running on straight caffeine and Zen.
Yeah.
Not
Kevin?
eating. Yeah, Kevin. I'm sure he's the healthiest for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely the healthiest. You know, Matt did ask us a question. He always asks questions 3 days after it's too late. But since we're doing this show randomly on a random Wednesday.
Let's just make this an ABC Matt episode.
ABC Matt said, which fellow YouTuber were you surprised to see in person for the first time?
Oh, there's so many.
So why would I be surprised, though? Like, surprised. Like, I generally always am expecting to see them.
So, like, that you were in awe of, or like, because surprised,
like,
no,
they were
I was
beautiful.
Expecting,
like, you were like oh, death pile picker.
I had built, I had built you, and I made so many jokes about you and Kevin and your heights that I was surprised you guys actually aren't that short. Or maybe I'm just short.
Well, you'd also like seen Art of Resale several times. Hey, I will tell you, Carrie, today I lifted weights.
Did you really?
I think, like, I
feel like... Is that the part of your midlife crisis you're in right now?
No, I was thinking, like, okay, so, you know, a while back, like a year ago, I got a gym membership, and I was going to the gym, and I really hated it. Made me want to die. I just was so miserable doing that.
I can't imagine you going to a gym.
I realized, like, the thing I hated about it was really the cardio. The actual lifting of the weights is fine. It's the moving fast, the running. Like, so me and Tina took a walk today, and I lifted weights on my little bench out there. So.
I think that is the thing. Like, I've always liked lifting and not so much cardio, but really walks is what I've been doing. Especially like the last week, I've been on several walks, and you don't even realize
the health hour with Carrie and Dave.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, once you start to become middle aged, you start to think about it. You can't just eat pizzas and fall asleep in the slop. You have to think about it.
Yeah. You know, I sent in a bunch of comic books to get graded, Carrie.
Dude, you're a comic grading bro now.
It was a while ago, and so I messaged the guy. So here's the thing: I didn't send him right to get graded. I sent him to get pressed. Do you know what getting pressed is?
Yeah, that's
yeah. So I went to get him pressed, like, you know,
prep them so they get better grades. Yeah.
He said. So I messaged him. It's been like a month since I sent him to this guy to press him, and I messaged him. He said I'm going to work on him next week, like 2 weeks ago. I messaged him again yesterday. I was like, hey, it's been another 2 weeks. Have you done the books yet? He said, sorry, last week ended up being a short week, so didn't finish up my previous orders. I should start yours today, and hopefully should be able to knock them out for you. It's been a month that he's had these books, Carrie. And Rod
I like that he still had the gall to say, like, I should. No guarantees.
Yeah.
It might be another 2 weeks before I get around to it.
Well, he did try to prove it. So he did. It looks like he just later sent me a picture. I don't know if it'll show up. Let me see if I can get this to show up here. But he sent me a picture like an hour after that. Like, he decided to finally do his job. Because part of what he does is, like, clean them. So you see that? Hold on. I got to get my face out of the picture.
He cleans them and then he sends them in for you, right?
You see,
like
yeah,
he
exactly.
Has the subservice.
So you see that yellow, like, line, like the dirt there? So there's the after. It definitely looks better. Looks better. You definitely did a decent job on that one.
So there's a big rigmarole in the sports card community, and
is it a maror or a marole?
A rickroll
or Rick
Moranis.
Cue the rickroll.
Yeah, cue it. So right now, like, there's a person named Kurt. His name is Kurt, and he has a service. That's Kirk. I'm talking about Kurt with a T. And I didn't mean to be curt with my answer. I apologize. But there's a guy named Kurt. He has a service called Kurt's Card Care. And he has been soaking the cards. Now, you know a lot about
soaking is a Mormon
because,
thing.
Yeah, you went to religious college. So you know
he's been putting them in his butt?
That's not what soaking is. That's reverse soaking. You could do that, I guess. That could be a way to... You could soak in the butt, right? Yeah, I think you could.
Okay, so he's been soaking.
But anyway, he's been putting, like, cards in, like, his solution, super secret sauce, putting it in, and then pulling them out and basically sent them in to be graded. And then the company, PSA, told him, like, basically disqualified that, and I guess won't let him send any more stuff in. Something
Why
like
though?
that.
Is it bad
Because
for the cards long term?
It was considered altered at that point. There's a lot of nuance to what is altered and what isn't altered. For example, with comic books, you can color them in, right, and fill things in. You can do that, but if it gets graded, it will be graded and then with an altered tag on them,
Okay.
which would decrease the value.
Lowers
So it could
the
still be
value.
like a 9.2, but then it'll say altered.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's obviously, like, I guess not everybody cares, but purists would be like, I don't want an altered comic. I want something that is a 9.2 because it's like, who, that's another thing about grading I don't understand is, why do you want something that was never used, or like something like a comic book especially? I feel like there's value in the fact that somebody looked through the pages, enjoyed the story. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it
That's
so
really lame that you said that. I don't
well,
know.
yeah, I kind of wish I didn't at this point. I really didn't think it through.
You're just so like, that's such like a granny thing to say. Like, I
On granny.
guess like, I mean, I don't know.
Well,
Does
why
my
would you?
toilet is more special because my butt's been on it and I haven't washed it? Like, what is this?
Well,
What are
yes,
you
but I'm
talking
not
about?
collecting toilet seats. If I was collecting
Would
toilet
you though?
seats,
If people started
there's
sending them
somebody
to you,
out
would
there.
you?
There's.
Would you
Don't
start
you
to do
think
it?
that? Like, have you ever been at a swap meet and just seen people sniffing stuff? I'm
Yeah.
sure people
Yeah.
like will sniff for those kind of smells.
No, I get your point. Like, the thing I think that's dumb about grading is the fact that you encapsulate it and can't enjoy it. That's the thing that I think's dumb. Like, you get that card and you can't really, like, I mean, a card's a little different because you can see both sides, but a comic book, a VHS, like,
Yeah,
you can't use it anymore. It's literally lost all of its usefulness at that point. So that's what I don't really understand.
it's
That's the
kind of
part that's
like
confusing.
when you have like a bug and you put it in that solution and then it's just like encapsulated, or like taxidermy. You know what I mean? Yeah, taxidermy sounds a lot
Yeah, I'd
funner
much
than it
rather
actually is.
reanimate the pet's corpse if I
Exactly.
could. Like
Reanimation should be our focus and not so much
seminary. Pet seminary.
Pet Seminary. That's a different
That'd be a fun
movie.
school to
A
go
lot more
to.
uplifting. Have you heard some of the sermons that the coyote was giving?
No, no.
It was beautiful.
I bet it was though. Yeah, so I've got these things that are gonna get graded. I've spent a bunch of money on them. I hope it pays off. I gotta decide if I'm a grading guy or if I'm not a grading guy. Same with you with cards. Are you a
Or
grading?
mullet.
You're
Like,
not.
I still am
You're
not completely sold on my mullet yet. I don't know if I can be
Well,
the mullet guy.
Tina said it makes you look younger.
It
And
does
so
make
I
me look
guess,
younger. Like, but my whole aversion at first was like, I'm 40. Can I be that guy? You know, I don't want to be the guy like, hello, fellow kids, you know, and like just like have a skateboard walking around, but don't skateboard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's,
Well, the
you
thing
know,
is, though, like at least where I'm at, the mullets are more heavily found in like the 10-year-olds, not like the teenagers. They're like 12 to 8-year-old kids, yeah, in that range. So you're really
mentally,
maybe shooting too low,
yeah,
as far as age goes.
it's true.
Like,
I just,
dude, the thing is, what the kids are getting now that are a little older, like a little trendy, like 12 to 22, is broccoli. Have you seen the broccoli
yeah, I ain't
hairdo?
doing that. That looks
It's
dumb.
like you shave it here and then it like kind of you stick it up like that and it looks like you're broccoli. That's what you got to
Dude,
do.
what happened to just spikes, Liberty spikes? Just
Dude,
doing Liberty
here's the
spikes.
thing. Like I really like doing my hair a certain way, but I'm far too lazy. And I never even look in the mirror. And then like when I do, I'm like, "Oh, I look terrible." But whatever. I'm married. Who cares?
Exactly. Like there's a lot of times I'm like, I'd like to dress up, but then I'm like, but then that would require effort and
Yeah.
preparation.
Whatever happened to the trash to cash wedding? I thought there was going to
Dude,
be like a
we're gonna have
Dawn
a
and
trash
Carrie
to cash wedding when we
should
get
do
out
it.
to Florida. We're
Yeah.
gonna invite everybody. We're gonna charge people, and then they
Hey,
could.
so we could make that our next event. But Kevin was talking to us about a future event, Carrie, and he's still like super opposed to it. But if you think about it, the last event, the Orlando event, Kevin did nothing. I mean, you also did nothing.
Yes, but
and-
I can get away with it.
But it went off without a hitch. We had enough people. We barely had to spend any money out of pocket. We lost a little money, but we paid for an experience, in my opinion. So I'd call that not even losing money. And so, like, why is he so opposed to doing an event? Like,
I think he doesn't like
he doesn't
people.
have to do any of the work. Does he
I think
just
he doesn't
hate
like
the
our
viewers?
fans.
He
I
hates
think he
the
hates the
viewers.
viewers. If
That's
I were to
probably
guess,
what it is. Like,
if I were to be honest, I think Kevin hates the viewers.
Who do you think he hates the most out of the Patreons who are listening?
Like the people that he's trash talked the most personally, one on one with us.
Yeah, like just aggressively negative towards.
Yeah,
Other than Death Pile Picker.
Yeah, I don't do the way he uses that man, Mike.
Dude, Mike
Without
called
Mike
me the other
caring.
day. Mike called me the other day asking for help. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I'm trying to get Kevin's glass auction loaded on knickknacks, and I'm having problems." I'm like,
How did he
"Why are
get
you
roped
doing
into that?
How
How?
does that even happen? That you're listing his knickknacks auction on
There should be we should be
It doesn't make any
less talking
sense.
trash about Kevin and really studying. Like in
How does he
another
do it?
era, in another time, the kind of power and influence that Kevin has would be used as like a dictator. Like he
It
would
doesn't
be
make sense.
the Mussolini 70, 80 years ago. But now he's, in the modern age, and this is what happens.
So do
use
you
that
think I
power.
should chill? You think that so Whatnot offered me this deal to do like a promo, like a little ad for sellers to get sellers to sign up, which I don't mind doing it. Like I do think it would behoove a lot of people to sign up and sell on Whatnot. At least to have an account, just like having an account on Mercari.
So they want you to focus on getting sellers on.
It's literally just a seller.
That's interesting.
It's so funny because I wrote him. I said, "Yo, this new Vendu integration is really cool. Could you do something where like my viewers, if they use my link, can get auto approved to sell?" And because I thought that would be cool. Like I wasn't looking for money.
I'm looking, yeah.
I just thought it'd be cool, like if anyone who clicked my link just auto got approved, because that would help people. It would remove that hurdle of like, oh, the Whatnot approval process is a pain in the butt, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, actually, pretty much everyone gets approved now as long as they have a store with a good history. And he's like, but you know what? Why don't you do a video? And he offered me a very small amount of money to do a video versus what a normal person would pay you to do a video. But at the same time, I was kind of planning on talking about it anyways for free. So I'm like, maybe I should just take this small amount of money. Yeah, because I was going to talk about it anyways. So maybe I should just do it. I don't know.
See, I'm in like a different Whatnot world than you now because I'm dealing completely with the sports card section. And I was just on the phone with them today, and they have like what they call like the Whatnot card show, like every 2 or 3 months, and I'm, I guess, officially one of the headliners for this next show, which is I don't know exactly what that means, but they said, do you want to be a headliner? And then they're giving me a budget to go to the card show and go spend. And
but dude, so you did it all wrong last time. Like you got to do it better. Last time Kerry got like they gave him cards to sell, and somehow they got all the money. You just did it all wrong. I don't know how you did it so wrong, but do it better this time. This time, the budget. Okay, so they're giving you a budget. Are they giving you a budget?
But the budget I have to well, basically
you can sell and they get.
No,
the money?
I'm going to go to the card show with the budget, and then they get reimbursed the budget, and I make the profit. So it's not.
So let's say
it's not perfect.
So they give you. Let's say they give
is.
you $500. You go out there, you buy $500 worth of stuff, and then you sell it all. Yeah. They get the $500 back. But if you sold it for $10,000, which would be a great flip, by the way, then you would get to keep the $9,500 or whatever.
I'm getting $2,500, and then anything I make above that, I get.
Okay.
So, but it's worth it. It's worth it to get involved in the community too, to a certain degree, like to be headlining the show, to be able to. Like, I usually don't have that kind of a budget when I go to a card show. Like
dude, you're going to be balling out. Dude, think of the video now.
Think of all the Blake Bortles.
I want you to buy out a booth.
That's the problem. I need to make sure I buy, like, I can't just buy, like, 5,000 cards either. I need to buy a small amount of cards so that I can run
sell
them
fast.
all.
So you got to buy high quality.
Yeah, it's going to be, like, $10 to $200 cards.
An auto, cheap. Like a rare auto card for $300 that you can sell for $700. That's the kind of stuff
that would be
ideal.
Buy. Yeah, that'd be ideal. But the problem is with sports cards, or like anything, but sports cards in particular, the reason I hang out in the low end so much is that's where the margins can be made because people aren't willing to bother posting a card. But no,
listen, I think this could
it's
change
harder,
the way
but I
you
can
pick
do
cards.
No, I agree.
This literally could, because like, I will say I'll give Rod a little credit. I try not to, but picking with Rod does enlighten me to the whole like spend a little.
I just don't like the punching with Rod. The picking's beautiful and sweet. The punching makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's true. Like I remember the first time he convinced me, because I found this thing. I was like, dude, this is gonna be worth more than they selling it for. It was a case knife, a nice big like case Bowie knife, and the guy wanted like $100 for it, and I'm like, dude, this is worth at least a $250 knife. And I was like, oh, look it up. You should buy it. I'm like, dude, 100 into 250. I don't know. Like, but I looked it up. I looked at the sell-through.
I prefer 3 into 8, if I'm being honest.
Well, that's true, though. I do that crap all the time. The 2 into 6 and the 5 into 15. Like, why not
do
the
same amount of effort to
and so like he convinced me to buy the thing, and it sold 2 weeks after I listed it, and I made $150. And I was like, it kind of enlightened me. And so I feel like you going to the card show with like that kind of budget might actually
No,
get
I
you
agree with
to be
you.
a little more risky in the future.
My
With the
thought is,
higher
like, I don't
price.
want more than 200 cards, so that means I don't really want to buy any card less than $10 buy, so
Yeah,
everything needs to be $10 or above. It could be less than 200 cards total, it could be 80, it
yeah,
doesn't matter. But I could basically use this money and this opportunity to test out some stuff, because the interesting thing, the last time I got all those boxes and I pulled out a card that was worth $500, right?
mm-hmm.
We ran it, started it at $2, and it went. I mean, it had a recent comp at 5. It could have been worth a little less by the time I ran it, and I ran it on Whatnot, and it did like $430.
Wow.
So I'm like, that was not ridiculously less than what it was
No,
going for on eBay.
listen, that's the one thing I've learned about Whatnot is like, okay, so as long as you're having your show with the right audience, you can get decent value for high value stuff, right? You're not going to
Yeah.
get eBay value, but you get decent value for high value stuff. Obviously, with my jewelry show, I didn't get near value for what I was selling, but I don't have a jewelry audience, and I didn't have the right people in there. But I think if you're the card guy, right? If you run
Yeah.
good bangers, that's what they say. The kids with
Yeah,
the
they say
mullets.
banger. Say it again. Like you mean it, though.
You should be saying you got the mullet.
Bangers!
If you run, card bangers in your card
The other
auction,
thing,
you're gonna
Barry,
sell them.
Is if you don't recoup the money, they take the loss too.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay that part.
Yeah,
don't
so
know
it's
if
like
you-
no risk. Yeah, I heard.
There's no risk, and it's cool. I can use this as a test, as a go-to. But I think that's really the future. You're right. For me with cards, is I really need to be getting to that $15 minimum, just like you're doing overall. But
Yeah.
the problem is the fact that I could just do this scanning stuff. I get lost in the weeds sometimes, but I need to focus more on the better stuff. And this could be a good way to see if it'll work consistently on Whatnot. Because if I can just buy and sell on Whatnot, buy and sell on Whatnot immediately.
So, Gary, I'm feeling a little bad for the Aussie flipper. I
You kind of piled on.
gaslit him. I don't know. Did you watch his video? He's
I
got
didn't.
the.
I meant to,
Okay.
and then I got distracted by not doing it.
So, have you told Don? You told Don what
I told
happened?
Don the whole situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did this video kind of responding to his video, guys, if you haven't seen it, but you probably have seen it by now. Basically, he wanted to make custom toy bags at the thrift shop, and the thrift shop said no, and which, that's all fine. That's all like, okay, hey, can I do this? Yeah, no, you can't do this. Okay, fine, I won't do it. Right? That's pretty
That seems like the
standard.
logical progression. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I guess I wouldn't even ask. I'd feel bad for even thinking it.
I wouldn't
That's
ask
just me.
just because I know they'd say no. I've
Exactly.
been to a million thrift stores. That's just never been an option. I would have loved it. There's many times I've wished it
Dude,
was an option.
Dude,
many times.
you know how many toy bags I'd be buying on the regular
Yeah.
if I could just build my own toy
Yeah,
bag?
it'd be awesome.
Goodness gracious.
And so,
did that
but
at
he
the
did this
DI.
video. What'd she say?
Don said he wished he could have done this at that at the DI today.
Dawn should be a part of our secret episode.
Oh, somebody did. She said somebody did it at the DI today. They just built their own bag.
Dawn-
Dawn
out
should be a
everything
part
in
of our
those
secret
bags like we
episodes.
buy.
Don, you want to be a part of the secret episode?
Like just tell them someone dumped out one of those bags
someone.
and then started filling it with other stuff.
There you go.
Ah, okay. So they did it without asking. See, that's an option too. Well, anyways, so I did my little mini response where I said, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised they said no, and that would be the end of it for me. But Matt did a big video about how big a jerks they were, and they should have done it for him, and they should have catered to the customer and things like that, and whatever, right? That's his opinion, no problem with that. The problem is that literally no one agrees with him. That's where the problem comes.
It reminds me
it's
of
not
a
even
certain
close.
back out coin guy that everybody
Yeah.
hates
Yeah.
for no
yeah.
reason.
Well,
Lovable.
he did back out of a coin deal, to be fair.
He's lovable though, and he backed out of a deal, but he was still at the table, man. I didn't
That's
leave.
true.
I mean, he didn't leave the table, dude. He
Yeah,
was still there.
It wasn't
Chat.
you, it was he.
He,
No,
the
so,
royal he. It could have been
I
a
feel
she.
I feel a little guilty because the comments are brutal towards Matt, and I don't think he necessarily deserves any.
And he
brutal
gave
comments.
you a first edition Pokemon card, and this is how you treat him.
Yeah, that's sitting in my drawer. I should do something with that. What is under me? Oh, it's
I
packing
think I
paper.
sold mine, got like $10 because
Yeah,
the
there
market
you
has
go.
gone down precipitously.
Yeah, they're not worth as much as we expected back then. But
We thought.
anyways,
they were
I feel a little
lot.
guilty. I've that video dropped today, and I'm just kind of reading these comments.
I
I'm like,
love
oh
I
my
love
gosh.
your level of guilt though. It's like I'm not gonna not monetize off this, but I kind of feel bad. Like
I
not
feel
bad enough to.
moderately guilty, but not enough to do anything about it. I didn't
You're
even
still gonna
ask
lo-
him for permission. Yeah.
Are you gonna still use this money for like some sort of weird like fried butter at Disney World? Probably.
You know what I'll do? I'll buy something Australian. I saw that at my Publix they have Tim Tam now. So maybe I'll go buy some Tim Tam in support of the Aussie
If you
Flipper.
had what we like to call in the business cojones, you'd get some Vegemite.
I have some still from the stuff Cherie sent me. I'll have it
me
forever.
some. I think it's.
I will have it
got
forever.
pizza flavor. Yeah.
Dude, you know what? This is where we should do the jelly hands on the secret episodes.
Yes, this is where you should start.
This is where Dawn should do the jelly hands.
Dawn should do the jelly hands.
But let me read you some of these. Can I read you some of these comments?
Your face, Dawn?
No.
No, Dawn said no.
Can I read you some of these comments?
Yeah.
Okay, so user. Anytime your comment comes from a person named user, you know it's gonna be classy.
Probably racist. Go ahead.
No. There are a lot of whiny and entitled resellers. They're all over yard sales and thrift shops. It isn't making our lives easier. Okay, so
who is he talking about? Like, is he a fellow reseller?
He's talking about Matt on my video.
But he's saying it isn't making our lives easier. Is he talking
other
as a fellow
resellers? Other resellers, which I don't know. A lot of these seem aggressive. I think Tina deleted some of the more aggressive ones.
That's the thing. I think it's doing diddly squat to make anybody's life any more difficult that there's a few entitled resellers, because I think most resellers aren't entitled, to be honest with you. They're working pretty hard to find stuff.
Yeah.
But if there is entitled resellers, there's also entitled people in every profession. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Listen to this one. I'm a reseller, and years ago, I volunteered at the Red Cross. I saw Matt's video and was horrified at his arrogance. Like, that's the kind of comment I'm getting. I commented on it as I do now. If I had wanted just those $3, I would have bought all 3 bags, removed the ones I wanted, and donated the rest of the rest back to the shop, and would have written those off as a donation. The fact that Matt can't see his arrogance was evident by posting the video. Hope he learned a lesson. That's the kind of comments. Matt, we love you, buddy. We're sorry.
Oh, Matt's awesome. I was defending him the other day, but I have not seen his video, so I can't.
I mean, I think he's unequivocally incorrect about this situation, but that's okay. Like, we don't need to attack him. He is probably wrong. Like, they're not required to cater.
Yeah, I don't understand the thought that somehow they need to let him build a bag. That doesn't make any sense.
It would be like buying blind boxes at Target and saying, "Oh, this wasn't the one I wanted. I wanted the gold one that's worth $80. I'm gonna keep opening them until I find the one I want."
I mean,
like, people do that, but you
theoretically, you could do that. I mean, to an extent before they tell you to stop coming in.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's not something you'd expect them to be okay with. So I don't know. I got Matt in trouble.
I mean, it's wishful thinking at best, and then the fact that you think they're going to do it and then get upset that they're not is a bridge too far. I'm not sure how he got to that idea that people would be like, yeah, great point.
So I'm wondering if I should buy more big stuff to sell on Facebook. You know, after this successful captain moment, I'm wondering if I should, especially if Tina does all the work.
Yeah, that's the key, is you find somebody else to do all the work.
Carrie, I'm trying to figure this out, but I think there's one of two things happening. There's one of two things happening in my relationship. Either one, Tina's trying to please me, or two, Tina's legitimately starting to like yard selling. I can't always tell because she likes to please people, but that doesn't usually impact.
She hadn't been going to yard sales the whole time, though. To please,
no,
she probably is enjoying it.
I think she's starting to get into it. I think the Browns flea market might have started to maybe get her into it. Like, she'll send me she'll send me posts of yard sales. She'll, hey, you want to go to yard sale? I'm like, it's a Tuesday. She's like, she finds these things on a Tuesday yard sale. I'm like, sure, let's go to a Tuesday yard sale.
You may be closer into a situation like me where both of you doing this. That would be pretty dope, man. It's fun.
Would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool. She's still learning, but she's okay. So Dawn is better than you. I mean, a little bit. At pretty much everything. I would say at pipe fitting, at
fixing stuff,
wiping.
She's
your
a
butt,
better wiper.
Your butt, wiping your butt. She's better at wiping your butt than you are at wiping your butt. So I don't know. It would take a lot of time for Tina. How long did it take for you to teach Dawn everything she knows? Would be the question.
It took me to teach Dawn. I'm still teaching Dawn, but it took me years. She doesn't listen.
Yeah,
that's Dawn's major problem. Is she doesn't listen when I'm talking, and it bothers me.
Yeah. And you wanted the egg white bites and she wouldn't make them. And that's just not...
seriously.
That was a cooking video idea. Dang it. Next week I'll do it.
Have Dawn make egg white bites?
No, I want to do world's best egg white bites. You
Dude,
know?
I love egg
Yeah,
white
I
bites,
know
by the
those are
way.
good, and like
They're really
they're
good.
like $7 at Starbucks, and I swear they're probably like $7 to make
Here's the
80 of
thing,
them.
like Dawn was flipping before I met her. She was flipping
Okay,
mostly
so
locally though.
she already knew then before
She
even
no, but
coming
like
upon
I mean
you.
honestly, Dawn's the kind of person she learns really quickly and she hustles harder than me. So she's gone on a like a she's just really good at what she does. She
Well, I was
really
trying
knows
to
what she's
figure it
doing.
out because like, so I think Tina's gonna learn pretty quick. If she's gonna come probably Friday and Saturday yard selling with me, which is pretty cool,
Dang.
and then she's gonna go to
Why
Browns
can't
with
it
me
be better
next
when you have
Saturday.
her?
So the thing is though, like, I've been taking my mom for years. She's learned nothing. Literally nothing. Like, I cannot tell you. It
Somehow
blows my
gotten
mind.
worse.
It blows my mind. Every single week she brings me a bag of McDonald's toys. And I'm like, Mom, I don't want. She's like, no, these are action figures. I'm like, Mom, they say made for McDonald's right on the back every time. And I'm like, it's become like a running joke in my videos. I'm like, no, Ma, those are McDonald's toys. She's like, no, they're not. But yes, they are, Mom. Like, she can't learn anything. And so I was trying to figure out, is it because she can't learn it, or is it because it's crap she doesn't care about? Like, maybe if I start picking mid-century modern stuff that she likes, maybe she'll become good at picking, my mom. But
Interest and interest has a lot to do with it because
yeah,
she knows you like toys, but she doesn't care enough to actually learn anything about them or even listen
yeah,
to you when you're correcting like
yeah,
that these are
exactly.
the wrong kind. But she's still trying to help you, which is
So I'm
sweet.
wondering if, like, if I were to focus on these other items that are maybe more interesting to her, she might become better. Maybe. I'll let you know. I'll report
Or she
back.
may have always been good, but in that category, but you've never been interested. So
Dude, she kind of has been. Like, I remember these times that she's brought me stuff, and I've been like, eh. And it's like weird crap, right? But I remember one time I listened to her. These little, like, I think they were salt and pepper shaker or something, or maybe ornaments. They were like little, I don't even remember. But she's like, I had these as a kid when I was a teenager. They're cute. You should buy them. And I said, yes, Carrie. I said, yes. Focus in.
yeah.
You're on your phone.
No,
You're
I was
looking at
trying to like show some
adult
of
content.
what Don. Well, yeah, you know the
You don't need to do
sometimes
that
the
during the show.
addictions. Yeah, sometimes the addiction's too strong. I
So,
was trying to show you some of the cool stuff Don's been finding and selling
well,
lately.
well,
is what I was
listen.
saying.
She one time I remember like a year ago, she brings me this little weird little vintage thing from like the 60s, 70s. She's like, I had this as a kid. I bought it and I was like, those are so dumb. They're gonna be worth nothing. They were worth $80 and they sold instantly. And so I'm wondering if she does, was bringing me a lot of good stuff, a lot of heat that was MCM, but I ignored it so much that she stopped bringing it to me.
Yeah,
And so maybe
I
she
don't-
was a good picker and I just didn't even realize it. That's very possible because I'm not that good.
And I think that's really honestly the key to being a good picker is to hyper focus on what you're interested and good at. You could become good enough at general stuff, hopefully to not be at like say you're at this honey hole comic yard sale or an estate sale. There's nothing but 12-cent comics all around you, just thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. And like you want to be in a position where you don't leave half of them for no reason.
I left
You know
more
what I
than
mean?
half of them, Carrie. I left so many.
But
And it's
that was
all
the-
because I took a plane. It's all
The
because
most
I took a
fascinating
plane.
part is you knew enough not to leave a lot of them. That's what I do. Yeah.
No, I mean, listen,
you didn't
at the end
realize
of the
how
day,
good it was at first. Was the
No.
problem? You didn't.
At the
realize
end of the
how
day,
good that
I
was.
pulled over 10 grand out of that sale, and I pulled better than anyone else. I pulled better than Eric, who was on the phone with a comic book guy. So I like to give myself a little credit for that. Like, yes, I'm not amazing, but I did a pretty good job that
But I
day
think that honestly
comparatively.
is proof that I'm giving you a hard time, but that's proof that you're a good picker because a good picker is not going to get screwed in those situations, right?
Yeah.
Where you leave everything. You didn't get everything, but you got a lot and you did really well.
Yeah.
But you should if you're super into MCM right now, this might be your MCM period of your picking career.
Yeah.
And you may not always be hyper focused and interested in the MCM stuff, but in 10 years when you're picking and you're on to the next thing, you're going to find the same stuff. And it's in the database. It's in the file cabinet. It never leaves.
Yeah.
If I find the right stuff, I'm going to always be able to find something at a yard sale. The problem is a lot of the yard sales around here, I get discouraged because it's just so much Ross and like Bed Bath & Beyond stuff, like the little
Tomorrow
racks
you're
for
supposed to
soap
do.
and towels
Is it
and
tomorrow?
stuff.
Tomorrow or Friday, you're doing a card auction on Dib Day, right?
Yeah, dude, I'm doing a Dib card auction. It's the first
So
auction
the
I've
reason
done on Dib in a
the
while.
reason I thought of
I'm
that
excited for it, honestly.
the reason I thought of that is because like you're very temperamental, right? Like you're very temperamental. So Kevin calls me up. He's like, "We need to make sure Carrie's auction goes good. You know, we
Did
need
he
to make sure
really?
it goes. Yeah. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, that's true. He's like, can you stream it on the Trash to Cash? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can stream it on the Trash to Cash. He like
Yeah,
really
he was
wants me
talking
to
to me about
succeed.
that yesterday. He's excited about it.
And
He's
I was
like, I'm
like, is
gonna
it
see if I
because
can come
Carrie's
in.
like a temperamental baby and you have to keep him happy? And he's like, no, Dave. I was like, oh, but he is a little bit, like, you know.
I'm definitely like the most emotional of the three of us. I
Yeah, I
am
would say
like
so.
it. I wear my heart on my sleeve in
You
ways
do, which is a good
where,
thing.
like, if
It's
I'm having a bad
honorable.
day, I can't hide it, and if I'm having a good day, you're gonna know it too. Typically,
That's
that's how I've
true.
been.
That is very true about it. Like, if I'm having a bad day, I'm usually pretty good at hiding it.
I'm
Honestly,
not,
man.
as you know. So, like, if it's a real bad day, everybody knows it. That's the problem.
Tina was trying to give me a pep talk, you know, and she was talking about this like reel or something she saw where it said like, think back to like when you were happiest in your life and make a list of all the things you did on a day. So what would your response be? Like when you were
Here's
happiest,
the
what was your
problem
day
with
like?
that. Well, like, it was a lot of video games, but you know where a lot of the happiness came from, and I think inherently you and me, I feel like, are fairly happy people.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but I think it's responsibilities and stress that come
That's what I
in.
said. So
Honestly,
I said Tina,
that make it where it's
this is
hard
the
to be.
thing. Other than, you know, 18 and under, when you literally have no responsibility at all and someone is feeding you and paying all the bills, those were probably the happiest days because I had no responsibility at all. But after that, like every day is my happiest day. Like I'm happy now. There's like I wouldn't change anything really about my life.
Yeah.
You know, other than maybe my health and my motivation to stay healthy, but like I don't think like you know if I went back to like 21, I had no money. I was broke. You know, like
Yeah.
the only time I was like maybe happier again was when I was a teenager and my parents were paying for everything and I had no
Yeah.
responsibilities.
I would say that would
And
be
we were
like the
sneaking into freaking timeshares and playing hacky sack for 3 hours and getting chased by the cops. Like that was fun.
yeah,
I
dude.
can't do that now. I got kids to take care of.
Yeah, there's so many great stories from back in those days that, when you just didn't have a care in the world,
Yeah.
or any responsibility or stress. And honestly, I pushed a lot of that off later than most people because I was still living at home till I was 30. And I didn't have, I needed to have some money coming in, but I didn't have to pay rent, for example. I
Yeah.
didn't, so like I pushed that off as long as I humanly could, trust me.
So is the key, Carrie? Like if we just unlocked the key, like we need to go down to a bank and knock some people out, go to jail. Then we get free food. We get
There is
activities.
There is something to that. I was watching. Don was showing me a short. This elderly lady in her 80s
I
talking
saw
about.
this short.
Yeah,
Yes.
that, like, I was encouraged. She was like excited that some older lady like robbed a bank and got caught, and now she could go get 10 years of food and board without stressing.
Without having to pay
There
for a
is
nursing home.
something to there is something to be said for that.
It's an
Because a
idea
lot
for
of
Kevin. It's an idea for
yeah,
Kevin
it's
at least
idea
at
for
his
Kevin has
age.
been. I would say, aggressively winding down in the last
Yeah.
couple years, mentally
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
So I mean, it might be time for him to think about a home.
The
I'm sure
light
Heather
is
would.
there at the end of the tunnel. He can see it. It's in view for him.
It's
And
like
so
that scene in Ghost where he's turning around and the angels are singing and he's saying goodbye. It's like that moment, give or
yeah.
take.
Yeah.
Give,
So I don't know.
that show used to scare me as a kid when the goblins
which
got
one?
the one guy. Remember Ghost, the movie,
Oh yeah.
where
Yeah,
the
yeah.
little
They
demons
kind of
took
did
him.
that. They did that like kind of their own version of it, and This Is the End with Seth Rogen and James Franco. Remember?
That was, yeah.
They did a similar thing.
Everybody.
Yeah.
That was
It
beautiful.
wasn't that great, but it was alright. I listed all day today, Carrie. I listed.
Good
Well,
for
that's not
you.
true. What did I do? I did something this
What did you
morning.
do?
I mean, I know I listed. Oh, I shipped. I had to ship a bunch of stuff, and then I edited something, but I can't remember what it was.
Here's the key: you can get shipping done fast and easy if you have Dawn do it.
Yeah, no.
That's my
Tina
key.
did most of it. So I went to Disney yesterday, again. I went to
Dude, you
Disney
just went to
yesterday.
Disney.
But there's
Like
many
last
parks.
week.
Last week I went to Magic Kingdom. This week I went to Hollywood Studios in Epcot, and I rode the Skyliner, and I had a great time with the girls. It was really fun. Tina and Elijah didn't go again, but it actually worked out because one of our friends had an emergency and had to go to the ER, and luckily Tina was home to watch her kids. You know, because if Tina had come with us, no one would have been able to watch their kids. Their kids would have had to sit in the ER for 8 hours.
That's
So
good that she was home for that.
yeah, it
then.
worked out. So it wasn't a
And you
big
were
deal.
at Disneyland, which is probably, she got to watch a bunch of kids, and you got to
She
go
got to
play
watch
with
3 rambunctious children while I went on roller coasters. It's
To be fair, like Elijah's just in his room. She didn't have to watch Elijah.
yeah, that's true. You're just sitting there. Listen, dude. Okay, so parenting thing. Okay, so Elijah's 15, almost 16. He's gonna turn 16 in like 2 months. And like I'm teaching him to drive. Like that's the age he's at, right? Like he's very close to
Have
adulthood.
you taught him how
at
to
this
Tokyo
point.
drift yet? Like how to do the
And
bank corners?
but he's lived a very sheltered life, right? Like no R movies, like PG-13 only, and he's a good kid, right? He follows the rules. He doesn't go out and do drugs or anything like that. He's not a partier or anything like that. He's a good kid. And he's been asking me probably for 4 years now to get Grand Theft Auto, right? Right? Like cuz I played it when I was his age. I played it when I was like 12, right? Like
Yeah.
this is the game, and GTA Online, man, like all the kids are playing it. All his cousins are playing it. Like he has to just sit there in the voice call while they play it. It's been that way for years.
Oh man, he's on a voice call listening to them play.
And he asks me, he's like, Dad,
man,
can I
that's
please finally get GTA? Like, I really just want to play with them. I was like, dude, I don't know. I said, here. This was my agreement with him. I said, listen, if you agree to one heartfelt father-son conversation a week from now till the end of eternity, then you can get it. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know about that."
You shot too high.
I asked for the one thing that he was like not willing to do, and he's like,
He's
"Fine."
like, I'm good. I'll just play something else.
Listen, it's so hard to get like your teenager to talk to you. That I thought that was
That's
a good
a tough
request,
one too.
You know?
I mean, because I don't have kids, so I haven't thought about that. But GTA, I feel like Eli's good enough and smart enough to not take too much of it to heart, but there's still some pretty explicit stuff in that game.
Oh, there's aggressively explicit stuff in that game, but
it's pretty intense. Like,
yeah,
I don't really think about, but like, yeah, that would be like build up, like have him play like a Guitar Hero first, like build.
well, he
that.
plays like Infamous and
Yeah.
and he's played Call of Duty and things like what I mean. Like so the violence side, but yeah, I don't know. I know there's
he's
like,
not. I mean,
it's fine.
Just Cause is Just Cause.
He hasn't played that yet either. He has
That
never
one's
been
probably
allowed to play
similar-
mature games, really,
I
except
don't
for
remember
Call
if
of
that
Duty.
one.
And
that
Call
one
of Duty,
had as
I
much
only let
crazy
him play
stuff.
online. I didn't let him play the campaign.
Well, Call of Duty is.
strict.
I mean, this is not that much better, but it's just violence, and then obviously dealing with the people online, which are going to say all sorts of crazy stuff.
Well, yeah,
Grand Theft
probably
Auto has
worse.
everything. It's like
there's-
Las Vegas. It's like when I walk outside. That's Grand Theft Auto all around me.
Your mom's
at
probably
once.
still upset that you live there.
Oh yeah, imagine what she thinks about me going to Florida, dude. She's
Dude,
Every-
I told
every
you I saw the most
conversation-
Florida thing today. I saw this guy with a tractor with a trailer behind it. Like on the busy road crossing on the crosswalk, he's got all 3 kids in the trailer of the tractor in car seats. Like the car seats are somehow helping them. I was like, I don't know if that's like safe or real. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
At least he was a cautious Florida man, you know?
Yeah, he was
Usually when you see Florida man, they're just running full speed nude,
Yeah,
just attacking.
That's true. That's true.
So
yeah.
it's nice. It's nice to see a Florida man that's not coming at you full speed erect. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, exactly. Why did I think of Harry Tornado when you said that?
No, I did. Oh my god.
He finally commented on one of our podcasts again. He was
Did
like, "Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I'm just
He's
gonna
still AWOL.
sneakily come
I
back."
asked him how his maybe he answered. He probably did.
You
I
should
just
check
now-
right now because he
Let's see
commented.
if
I
he-
bet if he finished the
He's,
episode, I bet
he's
he
a
did.
he's a better friend with you than he is with me. That's what
I haven't
learned.
talked to him in a couple weeks.
You guys used to
so.
chit chat like you were best boys.
They're like medium boys, boba boys, even. Me and him actually coined the term.
How's
boba
the Golf
boys.
Channel going? He saw it on Friday. Should I just ask again?
Just
I
said
asked
it. No. Listen.
I asked a question, Josh.
Listen. Send a sad face emoji. Send a sad face emoji.
No. Then he'll
Just
feel
send
bad.
that. Yeah, exactly. Just send that and tell him Dave made you if you get upset. But yeah, just send the sad face emoji. I bet he responds within 5 seconds.
You think?
Maybe 5 minutes. No, it's 10:30. He won't respond till tomorrow. He's sleeping.
Just
But send him a sad
as-
face emoji. Yeah, and just see what he says tomorrow. He'll be like, "So sorry, man. I've been crazy busy and
Oh wait, we can't see it. Never mind. Yeah.
and
I feel bad now. I'm bugging poor
why?
Josh.
No, listen.
Because-
you should. He owes you. And what? Did his boot stop working? Did his truck break down?
Yeah.
Do you know that song?
He's changed since he had the golf
Did you
channel
get that
as well.
song reference?
I
Did
don't
you
know
get
what
it?
that song is. Is that a country song?
Bro, it's like the biggest one, yeah, on TikTok right now. It's like, did your boots
Boots?
stop
Oh,
walking?
yeah, that one.
Did your
That's a good
truck
one.
break down? Dasha, she's actually quite terrible at singing, by the way.
Dasha reminds me of like an ex-girlfriend I had, kind of. Have I told you this story? I've told Dawn this story. So there was a girl. I used to go to the stomps at Classic Skating in Utah, like the dances at the skating rink.
Okay.
And then after like the skating at 9, you would go to this little dance, and it would be awesome. There'd be like Beyonce and Destiny's Child playing, and you were trying to you were trying to meet girls and stuff. And I was terrible at it, but my best friend was pretty good, so I'd always just
he'd
hang
leave
around
with 2 girls, and
yeah, and I'd be like just like make sure I could have one girl or something with me too. But anyway, there was this girl. Her name was Tasha.
I remember her.
She broke my heart, but I thought her name was Dasha, and I called her Dasha for weeks, and I don't think she corrected me. That might have been part of why it didn't work out.
Yeah,
and also,
well, also, I remember. Okay, so it's so funny. I was talking to Tina. Me and Tina were talking about our first, people who broke up with us. I only got broken up with once. How many times did you get broken up with?
Did I get broken
in
up
your
with?
life?
Like 3, maybe.
Other than the 10 times Dawn's left you.
Dawn broke up with me once, and then maybe another 3 times, and then I've broken up with a few ladies myself.
So out of all my girlfriends, only one ever broke up with me, and it was in 7th grade. And she was like a long-term. We met at camp. It was one of those long-term dating where we just literally were sending snail mail to each other and calling on the
90s.
phone. Literally using minutes and had to use 1010 220 so I didn't cost the family too much. Like, that was the situation. And my parents would be like, you were on the phone with her for an hour? That's ridiculous. And then she'd send me, like, the flowers, and she'd, like, kiss the envelope and spray it with perfume. And, young love, right?
Yeah,
And then she broke up with me in a letter. Right, and she like splashed water on it so it looked like it had tears on it, and I was like, Tina's like, well, what's she doing now? I was like, I don't know. She's like, what's her name? And I was like trying to think. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Amber Heard. I think that was her name.
Really?
But it wasn't her name. It was just like her name was Amber, but for some reason with all the Johnny Depp stuff, like my brain, and I kept telling Tina, I was like, no,
if
look
it
for
was
Amber
Heard,
and
you
Tina's
dodged
like,
a bullet.
Tina, well, dude, maybe it was Amber Heard. I don't know. I don't remember her name, but my brain kept telling it still tells me it was Amber Heard, but it can't have been. That's Johnny Depp's girlfriend. So I don't know.
Not anymore.
Was I dating Amber Heard? Was she from Ohio? Where's that? Wait, hold on. Let's see. She was from Ohio.
I don't think so. I don't think you were, dude.
Was Amber Heard from? Austin, no, it wasn't her. It was Amber something, and I just thought it's kind of weird. Like, I'll never know her name. Like, I don't. It's gone. It's out of my brain, and it's gone forever.
I got another dating story. So I was dating this girl, and I was going to homecoming dance, right? And she didn't show up. So I guess this is another time I got broke up with. She didn't show up. So like a complete, what would they call them, a beta?
Yeah.
I went to her house.
Betamax.
Right? Yeah, Betamax. I went to her house. Don, you'll find this funny. I went to her house. I knocked on the door. Her parents answered, and I'm like, where's she at? And she was like, she's with her boyfriend. And it was a different dude.
Oh,
and I didn't even know.
Wow, you loser.
I was such a loser. I went home and cried, man.
I
went home and cried. And,
Did your mom?
I do that all the time.
Your mom
anyway.
held you. Your mom held you, right?
My mom made me. My mom said it's okay.
You're my boyfriend, Carrie.
You made it weird. You made it weird now.
Sorry. Well, no, listen. I mean, I have a similar thing. Like, okay, so that's the one girl that broke up with me, but there was a girl I liked in, what was it, 9th, 10th grade? And I asked her out, and she said, no, you're too short. She shot me down.
True.
She literally just told me that I was too short.
That's a big thing nowadays. I feel like
rude. That was rude.
I feel
Carrie.
like if we were, dating in the dating pool right now, we'd have to wear like stilettos or something, because you got to be over 6 foot.
To be fair, she's 6'1". So I was shooting a little bit above my level.
Yeah, dude, that's like
with that
a person and a half bigger than you.
Yeah, so I mean, she may have had a valid point, but she missed out on a lot. She missed out on quite a catch, is all I'm saying.
Dude, you have 2 fairly popular YouTube channels and a couple that aren't as popular.
Yeah, I've got some. Dude, I got recognized at Disney yesterday. It kind of made me want to do more theme park videos.
Dude,
but
you shouldn't
what
stop.
it is like? I need
just
to
do it when you feel like it.
Well, no, and I need to figure out what kind of content I want to make. Right?
Do you know what I think you should make?
What?
You should be making like listicle stuff and just be doing shorts, like on
Yeah.
TikTok and Instagram, like I started, because I think those would be easy to do and you would get immediate traction,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
would get it. That would get you pumped up, and then you'd start doing long form.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Like that's kind of what I was saying. Like maybe I need to do like shorts or something. Like there's some other kind of content I can make that's not like gonna consume my whole day at the theme park. Because that's the problem with the way I was doing it is like the whole day at the theme park I was stressing about the content.
I feel like you could just be sitting home right now and just be going, I just got back from Disney today, and just talk about something that's interesting. It could be like, here's like my favorite rides from this section because
Yeah.
this is what, or you don't even have to say like a list. You could just be like, these are the rides I went on. This is why I choose these rides. Make it over a minute and just
Dude,
be
yeah, what if I
passionate
could
about it like
literally
you
be
are.
like- I like that. What if it could just be like, here's what I did at Disney World today, and I just like quickly show this and quickly show that and quickly show that, and that's it.
You know, like you could even do like that music like J Ride uses, like
Yeah.
secrets of the these resellers are lying to you. You could be like, here's the secrets to enjoy your day at, here's what a local does at Disneyland or Disney World or whatever.
I like
I think
that.
you could do it, and you don't even really have to film. You could have some B-roll or not. Because some of the best TikTok or short creators right now are just rambling on about something they're passionate about. And if there's one thing
Crazy.
that you're good at with like with your Flips channel is just rambling.
Yeah,
And
no,
people
that's
find it
true.
entertaining. I don't see why it wouldn't convert.
Yeah.
I don't find it entertaining, but
I
people
found the
do.
girl who shot me down because of my height. I found her
Oh,
Facebook
you found
page.
it. There you go.
She's she hasn't
In
posted
jail?
since 2017.
Is she in jail?
Actually, yeah. No, she's still very tall though. Still
So
very
she
tall.
has not got she hasn't become shorter. That's good to know.
Nope. Nope.
You got to wait till you're like in your 60s, then she'll start to get shorter. That's what happens.
Well, she's with a girl too, so I think there was maybe more than just my height that wasn't for her. So that makes me feel a little better.
See, that's not the thing. Like, I don't think like you're not particularly masculine though. You have a more feminine nature.
That's a valid point. That's a valid point. Okay. Anyways, this has been the super secret random
It's a
episode
super
that didn't
secret
need to
random
exist,
episode.
but here it is.
But
like,
it
why
exists.
does it exist? Why? Why is
Why?
it here?
Why?
Will we ever do it again? We don't know.
We don't know.
Here's the thing: if you subscribe to our Patreon, then you are guaranteed to maybe get random free episodes that other people don't get. How about that? I don't even know how to post this privately. Like maybe I'll do an unlisted YouTube video and just link it in the
This
Patreon,
is
but
what
then
we
people
should do
can
in
share
the
it with each
future.
other.
We could double dip on this, man. We could do a live member only on our Trash to Cash maybe, and then people would pay for that, and then you put it on. They can watch it afterwards on Patreon only.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah. Remember. Oh, that's
and then
actually
people can
not bad.
interact because I always love the lives where people are like interjecting and we can goof off and riff off that.
Yeah, we could do that too. We'll try.
I miss
it.
Kevin
We'll
a little
play
bit
around.
because we had nobody to pick on the whole time.
Well, listen, we could probably get him in future ones. So we brought this idea up to him, and he said he didn't know about like paywall
He said, let me
content.
think about it.
Let me think about it. And so we're like, let's just do it. Let's just do it, and he'll
not ask his permission.
ask for forgiveness, not permission. Yeah, that's exactly what we're thinking.
Exactly.
So, thank you, Kevin, for letting us do this, and thank you
Thank you,
guys for
sir.
watching.
Yeah, thank you. If you're still here, wow.
Wow.
Bad decisions.